There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz.jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.
Join the team of experts with the most advanced machine intelligence available and help transform how businesses and their people perform. Empower your career at Accenture. Let there be change.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robert from Jobs180.com, and welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live. Now, this session is done for and in coordination with National College of Business and Arts. Before we proceed, I would like to invite everyone to join us for a prayer, followed by the national anthem and the school hymn.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below.
bayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Good afternoon again, everyone, and thank you for coming. So, I am monitoring yung ating comments ngayon, and I could see na marami na sa ating present today. So, thank you very much for coming. We would also like to thank in advance company and our representative from Dolly will be representing later. Also, we would like to thank Accenture for being one of our corporate sponsors for this event. Please visit jobs180.com/Accenture to learn more about the company, view their job openings, and of course, apply. Aside from our industry partners, we also want to thank, of course, your school and school representatives. So with that, to start things off, we want to invite one of your officials on stage to give us a short message. So I would now like to welcome Mrs. Nimpa C. Robert, Guidance Counselor of NCBA. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon to the stakeholders of NCBA Cubao, Fairview, and Taytay, our beloved students, parents, to our guest speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Before we begin this webinar, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the following: Mr. Noel Binag, Executive Director of Occupational Safety and Health Center, who approved my request and referred a very kind and humble resource person from the Department of Labor and Employment. To our AVP for Marketing and Linkages, Ma'am Marie-Flor Huber, and the Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Cyrilla Eden, for the approval of this program. To all the academic chairs, to the Office of Student Affairs in the three campuses, to the school principals, Ma'am Veronica Caro, Dr. Arsenia Luzano, and Ma'am Matilde Tobias, the guidance counselors and the guidance specialists in Taytay and Fairview, all the coordinators in the senior high school department, college professors, and my secretary, Grace Ruby, also Michael Melencio. Thank you so much for helping out in the dissemination of this program to our target participants. I am highly encouraged with your moral support. To jobs180.com, especially to Mr. Robert Palomar and Mr. Kim Chua, I am grateful to you for helping me in organizing this webinar through online, thus giving us the opportunity to reach out more students that can benefit the guidance services even during this pandemic. We are thankful that this crisis did not succeed to hamper our services to the graduating students and also to the non-graduating students who were also invited to this event. The purpose of this employment webinar is to encourage everyone, especially the graduating students, to strive harder, be optimistic, and be committed to their dreams of landing a good job even in the midst of crisis. Jobs180.com and our invited speakers are here to give you more ideas, strategies, and methods on how you become employable even during this time that many companies are closing their businesses. I want to plead to everybody to listen attentively because the topics are so interesting and beneficial to all. Thank you very much, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to our Facebook Live webinar entitled Job Hunting in the Midst of Crisis. Have a great day to everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nimpa, for your message. Thank you as well for our, once again, coordination throughout the preparation for this webinar. So, of course, ni natin matutuloy itong ating webinar if we're not our coordination with you. Okay, so just a few more announcements before we begin. For those online, at I guess para dun sa mga susunod sa atin, I'd like to ask to comment the following. I see that you are commenting and may gusto lang kasi ako padagdag na extra details. So what we are asking for you to comment is to comment your name, your school and school campus, and the year of your graduation and your course. Again, name, school campus, assuming you're from NCBA, course, and year of graduation. Okay? So use the same comment box since I see naman you know how to use the comment box to make comments. Use the same comment box for our Q&A later because after each topic, we will have a short Q&A after. So with that, I would now like to share to you the topics that we will be covering today. So we have three topics, and for each topic, we have a different speaker. So the first is online applications. You will have someone from jobs180.com, and then top skills companies look for, represent with the representative from Alveoland, and last COVID-19 labor market information report. We will have someone from Dole to give this talk. Okay, so let's move on to the first talk, which again is online applications. I would now be introducing our first speaker. He has 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, business development, customer service, operations, and business process and human resources. As a trusted resource speaker, he has done over 1,000 career development seminars in more than 400 colleges and universities nationwide. Let's all turn our attention to the Managing Director of Jobs180.com, Mr. Kim Chua.
Afternoon, everyone. Allow me to share to you how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. A lot of you are now looking for a job and exploring for the next chapter in your life. I hope that this session will be able to help you. No, not only you, but the people that you know that needs help in terms of how to make a job-winning resume. Yan. So yan ang tinatawag nating resume link. A lot of platforms right now, mga online platforms are being offered left and right. But for you to know paano ito magiging job-winning tool or job-winning resume ito, meron akong checklist. So go with me, with all these checklists. Your checklist should include the following. Number one, kailangan mag-stand out ka. When you look for a job, you have to be able to stand out. Because if you're not going to be able to stand out, then I think you'll just be part of the crowd. You'll be one of the next applicant na wala lang, na hindi Another should be your checklist is you should only have one. Dapat maraming files na iba-iba sinesend mo, lahat ng details mo nandoon na. Another thing in your checklist is that it should make the process more efficient. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis mag-submit, mas mabilis makita ng HR, at mas mabilis kayo makontak for possible next steps na or possible job offer na. Now, another thing in my checklist is that dapat tipid ito, wala itong gastos. The tool that I will show you today, wala itong gastos. Libre po ito. At higit sa lahat, itong pinaka-importante sa lahat, this should be in your checklist. The tool should be secured. Okay, more than anything, importante talaga ang data. Pero ang data ninyo, dapat yung protectionan. And using this tool, this is the most secured resume, kung tawagin. Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Let me go through the next slides na. Okay? Ito ang tinatawag na resume link. Okay? A personalized URL for anyone can open online anytime. I will use an example para makarelate kayo. If you are John Santos, ang link mo or pwede maging johnsantos.jobs180.com. Kasimple. At yan na po ang resume link nyo. So how do you make one? Go with me through the 3 simple steps. First step is you have to register. Absolutely, wala tong bayad. Libre po ito. How do you register? You go to the website of jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com at dun ka mag-register on the upper right side of the screen. Now, as you do that, you have to put the basic information. Okay? So, alam nyo na ano mga information yan. Hindi ko na isa-isahin. Babawasan nyo naman at alam nyo naman ano dapat ilagay. Now, as you create your account, you have to use a valid email. Okay? Now, before we go to the email, paalala ko lang, sa mga nag-isip sa inyo, paano kung hindi ako si John Santos, ano gagawin kong resume link? O yan, baka nag-isip kayo eh. So, if ever lang, meron kang kapangalan, okay, just so happen na may ibang John Santos na nauna sa inyo, ano magkaroon doon na box, sabihin niya, this name has already been taken. Huwag kayong malungkot pag taken na, okay lang, just be creative. Pwede mo gawin, baliktarin mo. Gawin mo santosjohn.jobs180.com o kaya J Santos o kaya Santos J o kaya JS o kaya J. Depende kung ano gusto mo gawin. Basta importante, wala kang kapangalan. Okay? Wala kang kapareho. Now, when you do this, huwag kayong OA. Do not create yung mga ganong klaseng over-creative na mga resume link because it doesn't look professional. Imagine submitting to a company with your resume link that says eljablo.jobs180.com. Hindi ako professional. Okay? Now, when you register, please use a valid email. Yung emphasis ko lang sa pag-create nyo ng account na dapat gamitin yung email, yung nabubuksan yung email, kagaya ng Gmail, Yahoo, or any email na nabubuksan nyo. Do not create, example lang yung mga email na kagaya na ganito, patricia@facebook.com na email. Huwag kang gagamit ng joseph@facebook.com na email to register. In short, huwag mong gagamitin yung @facebook.com na email. Because if you use @facebook.com na email, you will no longer be able to receive notification being sent to you by the companies as well as jobs180.com. Importante po na nabubuksan nyo yung email nyo kasi kailangan mo i-verify yung account mo. Okay? It is very important that you verify your account as a proof na ikaw nag-register. At pangalawa, if you don't do this, you have to verify to finish the first step. Okay? How do you verify? Just open your email, look for the link, may verify. You're done with the first step. Okay? Tapos na yung first step. Ano yung first step? Register. Wala itong bayad. Let's go to the second step. Ang second step, ang pinaka-logical sa lahat. Kailangan complete ang detalye nyo. So how you do? You go back home. This time, hindi mo kailangan mag-register hanggang mag-log in. Pag log in mo, lagay mo dito yung email nyo or resume link nyo. Kayo lang may alam yan. At lalo na yung password nyo na kayo lang talaga may alam yan. So when you do that, you now go inside your account. Pag nasa loob na kayo ng account nyo, ano gagawin nyo? Mabilis na lang ito. Fill in the blanks. Okay? Now, I don't have to go through all the information here because definitely, alam mo naman pag sinabi ditong name, malamang pangalan nyo. Pag nakalagay dito address, malamang address nyo. Diba? So you put all the information ninyo dito. Okay? Lagay nyo. Then, what else do you put in here? Importante po, lagay dito lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak ng isang HR. Kagaya ng social media account nyo. Diba? Hindi lang email tsaka phone number. Bakit? Most of the time, ano nangyayari? Okay, let me tell you. Marami sa inyo nilalagay nyo phone number nyo. Pero pag tinatawagan kayo ng HR, hindi nyo sinasagot, lalo na pag hindi mo kilala. Hala, sino kaya ito? Hindi mo sasagutin. Diba? Kasi takot kayo, baka nagsascam or whoever yung tumatawag. So ano mangyayari sa mga HR? Mag-i-email kami ngayon sa inyo. But you don't open email more often that you open your social media account. So I recommend lahat ng posibleng paraan na pwede ka makontak na isang HR, ilagay mo dito. Kagaya ng mga Facebook nyo or Twitter nyo para mabilis tayo makapag-PM. Private message, makapag-invite for the next step. Okay? What else do you put here? You also put your work options, yung mga work experience nyo. Pagdating po sa work options, you can see on the screen, you have 4 options na pwede nyo pagpilian. Parang switch lang yan. Yes, no switch, on, off switch. So you can choose here, example, looking for OJT, lagay mo yes if you're looking for OJT right now. And later on, pag hindi na, turn it off. Dilagay mo na no. Diba? So depende yan kung anong mas trip nyo or anong mas pasok dun sa hinahanap nyo right now. What the system will do is it will try to match you with companies who are also looking for the same profile with what you have. Yan yung kagandahan ng tool natin. Hindi mo kailangan mag door to door para mag-submit ng resume link ninyo. Okay? What else do you put here? You put here your school under education. Even later on, okay, pagka-graduate nyo, you can also put here your school. Yung mga na-take pa kayo ng further studies, pwede mo rin ilagay dito. Okay, so walang limit sa space yan. Pagdating ko sa seminars attended, ganun din. Kahit gano'ng karami, pwede nyo ilagay dito. Kahit magkopyahan pa kayo. Just make sure lang, alam mo yung seminar na yon. Kaya baka matanong ka sa interview. Pagdating po sa certification, ganun din. Put all the certification programs that you've had, you put it here. Okay? When it comes to the achievement, do not limit your achievement only inside the school. Hindi lahat na nakikinig ngayon ay Dean's Lister. Hindi kayo lahat dito ay honor student. Diba? Ayan, nag-agree marami sa inyo. So, hindi lang po ang achievement nakabase sa academic excellence. Some of you are student leaders. So, if you're active sa school, you also put it here kung ano yung mga pinagkakaabalahan nyo. And hindi lang sa loob ng school, even outside the school. If you're active in your barangay, halimbawa, isa kang tanod, ilagay mo dyan. Diba? Yan yung mga achievement ninyo. So you put it here. Bakit? Because what you're doing now is you're trying to market yourself more effectively to that prospective company. Okay? Now, when it comes to the skills and languages, ito yung common observation namin mga HR. Pagdating sa skills, nilalagay mo lang na skills yung mga umiikot lang sa course nyo. Hindi porkat communication arts ang course mo, com arts lang ang skills na alam mo. Hindi porkat engineering ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang-engineering. Hindi porkat tourism or HRM ang course mo, ang alam mo lang na skill ay pang tourism at pang HRM. Maybe some of you are into multimedia, into photography, into videography, into something else, arts, crafts, whatever. Lahat ng yan, skills nyo yan. Remember, what you're doing here is you're marketing yourself more effectively. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, ilagay mo dito lahat ng skills na alam ninyo. Pagdating po sa languages, ganun din. Huwag mong ilimit yan sa 2 lengguwahe lang. Because I'm sure alam nyo na yung 2. Kung 2 lang talaga alam nyo, din 2 lang. Ano tong 2 to? English and Tagalog. Now, if you know other local dialect, Bisaya, Kapampangan, Sabacano, Ilonggo, you can also put it here. If you know foreign languages, German, French, Chinese, Japanese, diba, Korean, pwede mo ilagay dyan. Okay? Walang limit sa space yan. When it comes to the references, sigurado ko yung mga references nyo, kilala nyo. Ang malaking tanong dito kayo ba'y kilala nila? Sana oo, di ba? Kasi madalas pag tumatawag kami sa mga references nyo, hindi kayo maalala. So please tell them, ginawa nyo silang reference para at least they know what to tell about you. Okay? Now at this point, to make your life easier, kung sakali lang nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo in your Word file or maybe in your doc file, depende kung anong file nyo, PDF file, whatever file you have. Kung nakagawa ka na ng resume nyo, simple na lang. Just copy all the information inside dito. No, ilagay mo sa loob ng resume link. Just transfer them here inside the resume link para maging secured yung data nyo. Okay? Kung bakit secured, I'll tell you as we go along. Okay? So yung mga sinabi ko, I think alam nyo na yan. Alam nyo na yan. Okay? Itong mga susunod kong papakita, ito yung mga amazing na portion. Let me start with the portfolio section. Ano yung portfolio section? This is the part where you now upload evidence of your skills. Example, ano yung ebidensya na graduate na kayo later on? Diploma, di ba? Transcript. Ano pa? Toga, hindi ebidensya yung toga. Okay? Kung ano man meron nyo, di ba? Certificate, diploma, yan, ebidensya yan. Okay? Kung transcript of records is evidence na graduate na kayo. Ano ebidensya? Wala kayong criminal record, NCBA clearance, police clearance, di ba? Ano ebidensya sa ibang bansa? Passport, visa, lahat ng mga sinasabi mong mga skills mo or yung mga what you're claiming that you know, you can now support them here sa portfolio section by showing those documents. Diba? Anong ebidensya na ikaw ay healthy? Meron kang medical clearance. Anong ebidensya na pwede ka mag-drive ng sasakyan? Meron kang driver's license. Diba? So gets nyo na yung sinasabi ko. Ang point ko lang is you can now put the things here to support yung claim nyo of your skills. Now, you're starting to think, Sir, kung pare-pareho naman kaming graduate sa school namin, pare-pareho kami magkakaklase, same yung course namin, same yung school, same yung teachers, same yung curriculum, pare-pareho lang naman kami lahat, walang experience sa trabaho, how will we stand out? Ayan, di ba? Okay, ito ngayon yung isang magandang recommendation ko sa inyo on how you now stand out. You get your smartphones. Kunin mo yung mga smartphones nyo. Kung wala, manghiram sa kaibigan. Okay, hiram mo sa kaibigan mo. I-record mo yung selfie video mo. You say something interesting about yourself. Record it in about 30 seconds to 1 minute lang. Huwag na masyadong mahaba. Ano gagawin mo? Pretend that you are being interviewed by the HR. So you answer basic questions like, tell me something about yourself. O di ba? Ano yung mga gasgas na tanong natin? Why should we hire you? O di ba? Just imagine na tinanong ka ng HR at sasagutin mo na lang siya. Ang maganda lang ngayon, recorded mo. So kung di mo type yung sagot, i-delete mo. Pag type mo, you save it. Then you upload it sa YouTube or sa Vimeo. Maraming mga video channel na libre, mga video converter sa online. Hanapin mo lang. And when you're done, you put that video link doon sa portfolio section nyo. O di ba? This time, it will definitely make you stand out because depende na to sa diskarte mo on how you're going to present yourself. Okay? So I leave it up to you on how you do that. Now, another thing for you to do, na sure akong hindi to makokopya ng classmate mo, ay yung picture mo. Diba? So you put your profile picture here. Now, when it comes to the picture, hindi kailangan sobrang formal. Hindi kailangan pumunta sa studio. Huwag na kayo gumastos. Ang importante dito, tumingin kayo sa camera. Plain background. Okay? Plain background, tumingin kayo sa camera. Wear something, of course. Wear something decent. Okay? Do not upload profile pictures that look like the right side of your screen. Yung mga sample na yan, hindi po maganda example yan. Okay? So, huwag kayo maglagay ng ganun kasi mga sample profile picture. Now, another good thing pa that will make you stand out using the resume link is your cover photo. Yes! A picture paints 1,000 words. Yan ang kasabihan na very, very applicable dito. A lot of you who are listening today, hindi kayo gifted with writing skills. Hirap kayo i-express ang inyong feelings at inyong thoughts into words. Hindi mo ma-type, hindi mo ma-sulat. Tama? Hirap tayo eh. Bakit? Hindi natural sa atin yan. Pero pagdating sa picture, kaya mo i-express yung inyong personality. Look at the examples I'm showing you. Look at the one on the left. Ano siya? Isa siyang ophthalmologist or optometrist. Sabi naman ng iba, eye expert. Di ba? Inasa kanan, ano siya? Sabi ni iba, sir, parang IT. Sir, techie siguro kasi maraming gadget, pati stapler, gadget niya. Diba? Halimbawa, o sabi ng iba naman, sir, parang makalat. O depende na kung how you are going to interpret it. But now, the way I see it, itong taong to, multitasker. Okay? Another good example I'm showing you is this one. Someone from psychology, someone from neurologies, or maybe someone who knows left and right. Ganun lang kasimple. No? So, depende yan how you're going to express yourself. Okay? Another good example pa, ito. Itong person na to, ang gusto niya sabihin, there's no shortcut to success. You will be able to reach your goal by taking one step at a time. O, di ba? So, I'm showing you good examples. Hindi yan member ng Akit Bahigang. Hindi rin po yan social climber, in case that's what you're thinking. So, kung nagpakita ko ng magaganda example, I will also show you yung mga hindi maganda example para wag niyong gagayahin. Huwag kayo magpapaka-misteryoso. Okay? Make sure you put your picture there. Okay? Kasi maraming pangalan ngayon, interchangeable. Ako mismo, guilty ako dyan. My name is Kim. A lot of people think babae ako. Ako rin mismo, napagkakamalan ko yung mga aplikante, panakita ko, Chris, George, Alex, Sam. O, diba? Minsan isipin ko, Joey, lalaki. Yung pala, babae. Diba? So you better put your picture there para at least alam ng HR who to expect. Okay? Now, when you make your resume, dapat may laman talaga yan. Kasi kung walang laman yan, ganyan itsura niyan, blanco. And how do you expect companies will look, or HR from companies will look at your profile if you submit to them resume links that look like this? It's like submitting a piece of a paper, bond paper, or long bond paper, short bond paper na walang laman except pangalan mo. And that's the same as this one. So hindi yan papansinin ng mga HR for sure. Okay, sayang lang oras nyo tsaka oras ng HR. Kailangan attractive. Okay? When I say attractive or catchy, do not overdo it naman. Now, this is just in my opinion. In my opinion, I think this one is not a good example kasi ang dating niya parang tamad, parang happy-go-lucky, parang chill-chill lang, no? Parang ganoon na dating. So, I leave it up to you on how you'll be, expressing yourself na dito. Okay? So, sa mga personality nyo. Alam niyo na anong dapat nyo gawin at hindi nyo dapat gawin. So, showing a very good example is si iExpert. Tignan mo, lahat ng detalye niya, kompleto. Everything from top to bottom, kompleto lahat ng details, including yung kanyang mga portfolio section na nagpapatunay na siya ay isang licensed ophthalmologist. Pinakita niya lahat ng mga posibleng hingiin pa sa kanya ng mga HR. So bakit ko sinabi sa inyo na papabilis yung buhay dito? Hindi lang buhay nyo. pati buhay din ng HR napapabilis because once you submit all this information to that company, when the HR opens your resume link and sees everything about you, dalawa lang ang pwedeng mangyari niyan. One is, nahuli mo yung attention, gusto ka niya ngayon kausapin or schedule for the next step like interview or possibly job offer, or hindi ka nag-fit. Yun yung second. Di ba? Para at least, ang maganda rito, hindi na pabalik-balik. Hindi na siya tatawag para sabihin, hello ma'am, meron ka bang evidence na graduate ka na talaga sa school na yan? Can you send me your transcript? Diba? Can you send me yung mga evidence or yung mga sample skills or sample work mo kasi you are in IT or in graphic design, diba? Gets mo ibig sabihin, wag nang pabalik-balik, sayang yung oras. Okay? Time is of the essence, lalo na ngayon. So you put everything there, at least pag nakita ng HR, diretso na kagad sa pagpaprocess sa inyo. Okay? A lot of you are now thinking, Sir, pag gumawa ako ng resume at nilagay ko lahat ng information ko dyan, baka naman yung mga data ko nakakalat na sa buong mundo. Baka naman yung mga information ko nakalantad na sa buong internet. The answer is, no. Kaya nga siya tinawag na the most secured resume. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na most secured resume? Because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings. Follow the screen. Inside your dashboard, when you log in, you can go to your settings. Sa settings mo, to be specific, puntahan mo yung privacy settings. In your privacy settings, you choose the information that you want to show in public. Halimbawa lang you do not want to show your birthday. What do you do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita yung address mo. What do you do? Turn it off. Ayaw mo pakita ang inyong references. What do you do? Turn it off. So lahat na naka-off, hindi lalabas sa public. At sino may control niyan? Kayo lang. O, di ba? Ang maganda pa rito, real-time update yan. Halimbawa, today, you decide not to show your birthday, your address, and references. And then 5 minutes later, you decide, sige, pakita ko na nga birthday ko. Turn it on. Real-time. 5 minutes later, the moment you save your settings, lahat na binigyan mo ng resume link, updated na rin sila real-time. As in real-time. Di ba? Ayos, di ba? Sige, tuloy natin. Tuloy pa natin to. So, reminders ko na lang sa mga late na dumating or kakakinig lang, when you make your resume link, make sure that your profile is interesting and attractive. Okay? Wag OA. Iba yung over naman yun. No? Wag naman ganun. So, make sure it's attractive, it's catchy. Complete all the information, especially your contact details. Kasi sayang naman lahat ng ginawa mo, nahuli mo attention, hindi ka makontak ng HR. So, better make sure nandyan yung mga contact details na updated. Okay? So, yan. So, tapos na tayo sa 2 steps. Last step na lang. Ano yung first step? Recap lang. First step is register. Wala itong bayad. Libre po yan. Second step is for you to complete the information. Yan ang pinaka-logical. And the last step now is for you to submit. So, you're now thinking, okay ito paano ko gagamitin ngayon yung resume link? Bigyan kita ng iba-ibang paraan. Okay, lahat ito practical application para makarelate kayo. Unang option, pumunta ka sa website ng jobs180.com. That's www.jobs180.com, and that's where you now start to look for companies. Type the companies that you're looking for. Pag may lumabas, edi good. Pag walang lumabas, edi wala. Okay, wag din pilitin. Okay? Now, you can also see there a lot of companies, a lot of company logos that you can shop around, you can choose, learn about the company, and if you want to be part of the company, I recommend you submit your resume link kahit na hindi ka pa qualified. Let me repeat what I just said. If you want to be part of an organization, if you want to be part of that company, even if you are not yet qualified, I recommend you give your resume link to that company. Bakit? Imagine, kung ngayong hapon, ngayong araw, nagsubmit ka ng resume link sa isang kumpanya na naghahanap ng 3 years experience na aplikante. Wala ka pang 3 years experience, okay lang. Because nabigay mo na yung resume sa kanya, pagdating ng 2024, siguro naman by that time, meron ka ng 3 years experience, di ba? Kasi nag-work ka na ngayon, by 2021. By 2024, may 3 years experience ka na, pwede ka na ma-qualify dun sa position in-applyan mo. And you never know. That company might just contact you later on, provided that your details are still updated. So you have to update those information real time. Ayos ba? Ayos, di ba? Wala nang pabalik-balik. Hindi mo na kailangan magbalik-balik dun sa kumpanya para sabihin, nag-apply po ko sa inyo last year. Ako po yung OJT nyo 3 months ago. Wala nang ganun. Okay? Another practical application. When you submit your resumes through email, how do you do that? Madalas, ito ginagawa natin. Mag-email tayo, sasabihin natin, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position and this is my resume. Ano gagawin nyo? I-attach mo yung Word file mo or PDF file mo. Tama? If that is how you're doing it, wag mo nang gawin yon. Huwag ka na mag-attach ng anything sa email. Pampabagal lang yan, tsaka makaluma na yung style na yan. Bakit ko sinabi yon? Kasi hindi mo na kailangan talaga mag-attach ng anything. Ang gagawin mo, i-type mo na lang doon sa email mo yung resume link mo. Example, Dear HR Manager, I would like to apply for the following position. And this is my resume. In this example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz, 01.jobs180.com. That's it. Submit. I look forward to your information soon. Thank you. Send. Every time meron kang babaguhin sa details mo, hindi mo na kailangan padalhan yung HR. Kasi kung ginagamit mo mga attachment, ang kulit niyan eh. Ang kulit, saka nakapagod. Ano gagawin mo pag nagbago ka ng phone number? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated resume. Mamaya-maya, 2 weeks later, nagpalit ka ng phone number. Ano gagawin mo? Dear HR Manager, this is now my updated, most recent resume. O di ba? Every time meron kang babaguhin, padala ka na padala doon sa HR. Nakakapagod yan, hindi lang sa part nyo, kundi sa part din namin sa mga HR to keep track which one yung pinaka-updated na details. So this time, wala na kailangan. Palit-palit na lang kayo ng details nyo, update na lang sa loob ng resume link. Ayos ba? Ayos pa. Okay, tuloy pa natin to. Okay? If you want to print your resume, this is now the good news. You can now print your resume link. No matter how much information you have, the system will try to compress everything into one page. So kung gusto mo talaga mag-print ng papel at mag-submit sa mga kumpanya, walang kaso. Pumunta ka lang sa dashboard mo, hanapin mo yung print na option at mamili ka kung 1 column or 2 column version ang gusto mo i-print. What the system will do is it will try to compress everything into one page para tipid na. O, di ba? Now, usapang tipid. Ito mas tipid pa. Gusto mo mag-print ng resume pero gusto mo magtipid. Itong gawin mo. Gumawa ka ng resume link card. Ano tong resume link card? Sa isang pirasong long bond or short bond paper, mag-design ka ng maraming resume link card. No, maliliit lang, parang business card ang dating. In one piece of paper, I think you can make 10, 20 sets of cards. Depende sa size ng papel mo. At ang importante na ilagay mo dyan sa resume link card mo ay syempre ang inyong resume link. Diba? So, hindi mo na kailangan ilagay lahat ng details mo sa resume sa loob ng maliit na papel. Lagay mo lang resume link mo. And that is what you now give to the companies when you start applying. Look at the picture I'm showing you. Diba? Tipid. Hindi lang tipid. Secured pa. Tingnan nyo. If you submit yung big paper resume nyo, long bond paper, sinubmit mo sa isang kumpanya, nag-apply ka. For some reason, nilipad ng hangin. Yung nakapulot ng papel na yan, alam na buong detalye mo because everything is in that one-page printout. Now, if you lose that small piece of paper, don't worry. Meron kang peace of mind. Bakit? Yung mga kapulot niyan, limited sa privacy settings mo because you have the ultimate control over your privacy settings kahit na i-type niya yan sa browser. Okay? So, ang recommend ko rin sa mga nakikinig, use the gadget. Take advantage of the technology. Use your gadget, your laptop, your cellphone, your tablet, kung ano man. Okay? Para ngayon kasi, with this day and age, technology na ang gamitin natin. Kung mano-mano pa rin kayo, wala kayong gadget, okay lang. Huwag kayong malungkot. You can still submit to the companies by just simply writing the resume link on a piece of paper. As simple as that. Okay? So, again, sa mga natatanong, ano yung mga guidelines ko para makagawa ako ng job-winning resume? Ito yung guideline ko. Ito yung checklist ko. Are you using the right tool? That's the ultimate question. There are so many tools right now, but these are the things that you should consider when you make your resume. And that is the resume link. It already addressed the following. Number 1, security ng information mo. I hope by this time, you have peace of mind. Ito na ang pinaka-secure na information because you have the ultimate control over your privacy setting. Pangalawa, the speed of hire becomes faster, it becomes more efficient because whatever you need, whatever the HR needs, you can already put it inside the resume link. Another thing is that it's flexible. If you want to print, just in case lang gusto mo talaga mag-print ng resume nyo, you have the option to print it. And you don't have to worry about saan ko sinave yung file na yan, saan ko tinago, wala nang ganun. Just log into your account and print. Mamili ka lang kung 1 column or 2 column version. At higit sa lahat, wala po itong bayad. Tipid po ito. Walang bayad. Okay? Ang kailangan mo lang, of course, internet. Sa mga nag-iisip sa inyo, sir, kailangan ko ng pan-data. Pwede ka naman makakonect sa internet na walang data eh. Punta ka sa libreng wifi. Di ba? Baka yung kapitbahay nyo may libreng wifi. O, makagamit ka muna. Later on, pag may trabaho ka na, may sweldo na, bayaran mo yung wifi niya. O, di ba? Bawi-bawi lang yan. No? Give and take. And there are a lot more benefits to just what I've mentioned. Marami pang iba. You can share your resume link to whatever platform you want to share it to. Gusto mo i-text? Gusto mo siya i-private message? Gusto mo i-send via Viber? Kayo bahala. Pwede mo i-share. Basta kayo may control. Ganun lang kasimple. No? Kung hindi mo ito binigay sa kahit kanino, hindi malalaman to ng taong yon. And you don't have to save it to whatever USBs or hard drive. No need na. Wala rin tong mga tipong version na kailangan pa compatible. Walang ganun. Lahat ito compatible. Pwede lahat. Okay? So shout out na lang ako. Shout out to all our school partners. By the grace of God, right now we have about 400 plus colleges and university partners nationwide, including your alma mater. So thank you. We're very thankful for this opportunity that we're able to do this kahit tayo nasa loob ng bahay, kahit kayo ay nasa loob ng bahay. So hindi tayo physically nagpe-present, pero nakakatulong pa rin tayo, especially if you have friends or relatives whom you think would need this tool. Please share this to them. Okay? Sa mga nagtatanong naman ng mga frequently asked questions, sasagutin ko na. Ito kasi yung mga common questions na kadalasan tinatanong sa akin. Ang tanong, can I give my resume link to companies who do not know about jobs180.com? The answer is absolutely yes. It depends kung sino ang bibigyan mo. Ikaw may ultimate control niyan. Okay? Pangalawang question, is this the same as other job platform like LinkedIn, JobStreet, iba pang mga job site? The answer is no. Meron tong dalawang major difference. Yes. Lalo na pagdating sa security. Okay. Of course, explain lang ako Okay. With respect to the other sites that I've mentioned, let me just use JobStreet as an example para lang mas makarelate, no? Para makarelate. You can only use JobStreet resume if you're applying to companies who are also using JobStreet. If you're applying to a company who is not using JobStreet, you cannot use your JobStreet resume anymore. With your resume link, you can use this to any type of company, any platform, wherever they are. Kahit sa loob ng Pilipinas or sa labas ng Pilipinas, pwede mong applyan. Kahit hindi niya alam ang Jobs 180, basta alam niya ang resume link mo, pwede niya mabuksan ang profile at makita according to your settings. That's the first difference. Pangalawang difference, kung nabigay mo na, kung na-submit mo na ang JobStreet resume mo sa isang company, wala ka nang pwedeng baguhin. Lahat ng data mo nandun na yan sa HR. Yes. Hindi na magbabago yan real time. With your resume link, na-submit mo today, mali pala number mo, na-submit mo today, mali pala yung spelling mo, you can always edit it, enter, save it, real-time update. Lahat ng bigyan mo ng resume link, updated real-time. Ayos? Okay, tuloy tayo sa number 3 question. Number 3 question is the easiest question. Ang tanong dito is, can I keep my information secured? I hope by this time, na-convince ko na kayo na ito na ang pinaka-secured na platform. Okay? That's the reason why I'm sharing this to you. Okay? Number 4, I think this is the most important question. How often should you update your resume link? Ang sagot dito, hindi araw-araw, hindi linggo-linggo, hindi buwan-buwan, hindi taon-taon. Ang sagot dito ay every time. Every time na meron kayong babaguhin, lalo na ang contact details nyo. Yan ang importante. You have to update your contact details every time na meron kayong papalitan doon. Kasi yan yung paraan para makontak kayo ng mga companies. And the last question is just a trivia. Why is this called jobs180.com? This is called jobs180.com because we want to turn your life around. Yan, di ba? 180 degrees. Hindi siya 360. Kasi kung 360, bumalik ka lang kung saan ka galing. Hindi balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang, balik-balik ka lang. Di wala nangyari. Di ba? So you have to do it 180 degrees. It's a straight line towards your career goal. Okay? Just in case may tanong pa kayo, nahiya magtanong, pumunta lang kayo sa website namin, sa jobs180.com, or email me here sa info@jobs180.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram para makakuha kayo ng mga latest trends in recruitment. Okay? Again, my name is Kim Chu Wa. Don't forget yung Wa. Okay? Baka Kim Chu lang maalala nyo. Na nagsasabing, be safe at isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Okay, so once again, that was Sir Kim with his talk on online applications, the resume link. So we have Sir Kim here with us for Q&A. So once again, I encourage everyone to type in your questions as a comment box. You could also type your other comments that are, of course, related to the webinar dyan sa comment box. So while we are waiting for your questions, I'd first like to ask this to Sir Kim. Sir Kim, regarding ito sa paggamit ng valid email, we know that we should use a valid email, hindi yung hindi yung facebook.com, sabi niyo nga. What about yung paggamit po ng school email?
Okay. Thank you for the question. So if ever lang na ang ginamit ng pag-register sa resume link ay yung school official email, 'di ba? May official email binibigay yung school minsan sa mga students. I recommend you change it to your personal email. The reason is because once you graduate from your school, at sure naman ako gagraduate kayo, di ba? Kahit gaano katagal pa yan sa school na yan na kayo magstay, gusto niyo rin graduate, syempre. Pag graduate na kayo sa school po ninyo, you might not be able to receive na the notifications or invitation coming from the companies. That is the reason why I recommend pakipalitan na po yan kaagad right now to your personal email so that you don't have to remember later on na you have to change pa your email address. Yun lang naman po, no? So, mas mabuti gamitin na lang yung personal email address po ninyo.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kim. We have here a question from our comment section. Actually, this is a two-part question from Sir Ray Christopher. After this, kinoment niya yung follow-up question niya dito. So, after nito, I guess, try namin i-flash agad because it's related to the first question. So, is it possible to make a specific list of companies that I can make all my information public to? And then yung follow-up is, it is for the companies that I submitted my resume po to see my information completely even if I set my information to private, to the public.
Okay. I think I understand your question. The way I understand your question is, Sir Ray Christopher. Thank you for the question. Number one, yes, definitely. No, you have to have a list of companies that you would like to apply to para at least alam mo rin. Baka mamaya pag tinanong ka ng HR, what other companies did you apply to? Nako, yari, di ba? Minsan, mabablanko tayo dyan, no? Hindi tayo maalala. So, at least meron kang guide, meron kang cheat code kung tawagin. Sino yung mga in-applyan mo for reference. Now, what I recommend is that if you're going to give yung entire information mo, if you're allowing naman na ipakita lahat ng details mo, full details to the company, what I do recommend is you go to jobs180.com, look for that company, and submit yung resume link nyo on the website of jobs180.com. Through our website, pag sinabmit mo yung resume link mo, may magpa-prompt doon sa screen eh. Well, it will ask for your resume link and your password. Of course, ikaw lang may alam niyan. So, ang gagawin mo dyan, Sir Ray or Sir Christopher, you have to put your resume link and your password to the company that you wanted to see yung information. You wanted that company to see the entire information mo, yung full disclosure. Gawin mo yon. So, regardless of your public settings, halimbawa, yung public setting mo nakalagay doon, don't show my address, hide my portfolio, don't show my references. Pero pag ginawa mo yung process na ni-recommend ko, if you would like the company to have the entire information, as in everything about your details, you do that process. Hanapin mo yung company sa jobs180.com, tapos piliin mo yung company, submit mo yung information mo by putting your resume link and your password. And once you do that, all your information now will be fully disclosed to that company. So that's my answer to your question. Kung gusto mo makita na lahat. Balikan ko lang yung question mo, teka. I submitted my resume po to my information completely even if I set my information. Ayan, tama. Yes. So I hope na-answer ko yung question mo.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Sir Kim. Next question from Laika. Sir, kailangan po ba ng work experience para makapag-register sa jobs180.com?
Hindi. Ma'am Laika, you don't need any work experience para makapag-register. Okay? Para makapag-register, magkaiba yung para makapag-register doon sa ibang baka yung companies naghahanap ng work experience sa background. So, ang recommend ko is even if you don't have any work experience, baka lang meron kang summer job, may racket-racket ka dyan, sideline or any other practical application or maybe nagkaroon ka ng OJT, you can use it as your work experience. Pwede. Na kung talagang wala, wag mag-invento, wag mag-falsify ng information kasi baka mamaya malagot tayo sa ating application pag ikaw yung nag-iimbento. Ma-background check po tayo niyan, no? Wag nating gagawin 'yan. So, just to answer your question, yes, you can register sa jobs180.com even if you don't have any work experience.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Kim. Next question from Ria Angeles. Do companies hire overage fresh graduate students?
Do companies hire overage fresh graduates? Anong age ang pinag-uusapan natin? Is it 55 years old, fresh graduate? Kasi kakatapusan niya mag-aral ng college by the time 55 years old na siya. Well, just to answer your question, do companies hire overage fresh graduates? Definitely yes. Wala naman po, sa totoo lang, there's a lot of companies who looks beyond the age. They don't look at the age as a factor. In fact, they look at the experience. So even if you are a fresh graduate, because technically kakagraduate mo lang because nagtrabaho ka for 10 years, no? And then you supported yourself to finish your education. So by the time nag-graduate ka, ilang taon ka na? Maybe 30 years old ka na. So kahit na 30 ka na, fresh graduate ka, okay lang din, walang problem. We have a lot of incidents na marami kami mga aplikante na working students, so they were not able to finish their college at the time that most people would finish it. I would say mga, let's say 20, 22 years old, tapos na, 'di ba? Yung iba. So may iba nalilate matapos, 30 plus years old na. Mayroon nga kami incident, fresh graduate, kaya nga sinabi ko fresh graduate, 55 years old. Because may pamilya na siya, lahat-lahat. Oo, tsaka lang siya nakapagtapos mag-aral. O, halos naunahan pa yata siya ng anak niyang graduate before pa siya nagpatuloy sa kanyang pag-aaral. So that's, well, I'm just joking lang about, saying 55 years old fresh graduate, but that's a real scenario. No? Wala pong ano yan, wala pong edad-edad. Now, the companies will be looking at your skills definitely when they screen for your application. That would come into the picture. But definitely, I'm not sure about the age. No? Depende na siguro. Baka naman yung trabaho, kailangan medyo physical trabaho. Kailangan medyo may bubuhatin or magbabiyahe. Diba? Baka mamaya yung medyo may health factor din siguro kung may age na. But then again, I would say in general lang, HR will not be looking at your age. They'll be looking at your skills.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kim. So looking at the comments, sir, meron pa tayong questions pero unfortunately, we don't have enough time para makover lahat ng ito. So to the viewers na nag-comment ng questions, once again, pwede nyo naman i-message kay Jobs180 itong inyong questions. Kanina sa presentation ni Sir Kim, may slide doon sa aming ways kung paano nyo kami ma-reach, yung aming email, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Tingnan nyo na lang yung slide na yon kasi this video is recorded and will be saved naman sa Facebook page namin. So look at it, message nyo sa amin yung mga yan. Easy na rin, nandito na rin kayo sa Facebook, message nyo na rin sa amin. Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Kim.
Maraming salamat din. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, sir, we would like to present to you a certificate prepared by NCBA. So I will read it out loud. National College of Business and Arts Cubao Center for Guidance and Counseling presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Kim Chua for having contributed his time, effort, and knowledge as an organizer and a resource speaker in our pre-employment webinar for graduating college students entitled Job Hunting in the Midst of Crisis, conducted through facebook.com/jobs180 on the 16th day of April 2021. Signed by Mrs. Nympha C. Robert, Guidance Counselor of NCBA Cubao, Mrs. Marie-Flor M. Huber, AVP for Marketing, Placement, and Linkages, and Attorney Nancy Concepcion T. Pastion, College President. So, to officials from NCBA, we will make sure that Sir Kim will be able to get a copy of this certificate.
Maraming salamat po sa mga taga-NCBA. Thank you rin po for allowing us to partner with you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Sir Kim. Once again, we can now move on to our second topic. So we will be showing the second topic. We will be introducing the speaker who will be talking about the skills that companies look for. Our speaker, Bernie, has been with Alveo Land for 2 years and 6 months now. She has been working in the recruitment field for almost 7 years, with background in other industries such as startup tech firm and executive search firm. She is currently handling the recruitment of salespeople in Alveo Land nationwide. She is a graduate of PS Psychology from University of Santo Tomas. Let's welcome Ms. Mary Bernadette Lati, Senior HR Associate of Alveo Land. Good afternoon, Ms. Bernie.
Hi, good afternoon, Robert.
Hi, nice to have you with us now.
Thank you.
Let's try na po ang ating screen share so that once it's up, you could start your presentation.
All right, I'm
Okay,
gonna.
sige. While Ms. Bernie is sharing her screen, I would like to invite everyone to take a look at their Jobs 180 page. Makikita nyo sa ilalim ng screen nyo, may nag-scroll. Diyan, it's telling you kung saan nyo pwede puntahan ang kanilang Jobs 180 account. So it says there, apply online, jobs180.com/alveoland. So there.
Okay.
Ms. Bernie, your presentation is up. I think
Oh.
naka full screen naman na. Your audio and video is fine. So I'll
Mm.
be heading backstage. Balik na lang ako here for your Q&A. Thank you.
All right. Great. Thanks, Robert. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So, again, my name is Bernie. I'm from Alveoland HR Recruitment, and I'm handling the recruitment for sales nationwide, no, since we have presence kasi nationwide. So, for this afternoon, I'm given a topic to discuss to you. No, we'll be talking about the top skills employers look for. So, well, just to define first, no, what is a skill? A quick search on Google, yan. So it gave me different sources, no. So from Merriam-Webster, skill is defined as the ability to use one's knowledge effectively and readily in execution or performance. From dictionary.com, it's defined as the ability coming from your knowledge or your practice or your aptitude, no, to do something well. And then Google no quickly defines it as the ability to do something well or your expertise. So basically, they all have the common denominator naman na ultimately skill is what you know, or how you're able to exercise, or how you're able to manifest what you know, no, in terms of doing a certain task or doing a certain project. So yun yung parang common denominator nila. So to be able to identify what are the skills, no, most of the skills that employers are looking for, let's categorize first, no, kasi um may two types, no, of skills that we know. Just to refresh lang din, no, if you're not familiar, hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills, these are skills that can be learned through official courses or training. Ito yung mga pinag-aaralan talaga formally in schools or in training centers. Yan. So these are also termed technical skills, and they are easier to quantify or to measure. They have a certain parang unit of they have a certain tool or equipment to be able to measure these skills more accurately. So, for example, of samples of hard skills lang. So, typing speed, computer programming, bookkeeping, hardware, spreadsheet, or Excel, no, or Microsoft or any software, no, and then design, whether it's in arts or in IT field, no. So these skills, so these are just a samples, of hard skills. So these skills can be officially learned, no. You learn this in school, or may certain subjects kayo, no, in high school or in college, that wherein you learned this skills, no, dito kayo natutong kung paano mag-type ng mabilis, or naaral niyo yung programming language and stuff, and these are easier to quantify. Like for example, in typing speed, the measurement in typing speed is the number of words that you can type in a minute. So the more words that you can type in a minute, the better you are in terms of typing speed. So may exact measurement, no, on how we can say na I'm good in this skill. Versus the soft skills, these are usually called people skills or interpersonal skills. They're more of the character traits of a person. These are not that easy to quantify because it's highly dependent on the subjectivity nung kung sino yung mag-evaluate, or kung sino yung mag-grade sa'yo, or mag-evaluate sa'yo. So sample ng soft skills natin: communication, time management, teamwork, flexibility, leadership, and problem solving. These are all skills, yes, but as I mentioned, no, medyo more on people skills siya. Hindi siya exactly na me-measure talaga. For example na lang sa communication skills, um, let's say you're a fresh graduate, no? When you were in high school, yung English teacher mo, ang grade niya sa'yo sa English, 95 to 100. So, parang yun na yung pinakamataas na rating. But then when you move to the next year, nag-college ka na, yung English prof mo, parang fair to average lang yung rating niya sa'yo. So, it's dependent on the evaluator. And I think malaking factor din yung context, eh. Kung para saan, bakit, anong type, anong aspect sa communication yung mini-measure sa'yo. So, hindi siya gano'n kadaling i-measure unlike nung hard skills natin na when you say ganito yung score mo, eto na yung proficiency level mo talaga. But these are also important, no? It's not just the hard skills that's important. Soft skills are just as important as the hard skills. Now, what are the top skills employers look for? Um, so I did a quick research no online. So there's a lot of articles stating they have a really long list of skills no that employers say they are looking for. But some of these articles kasi they're not so relevant to the Philippine setting, especially with what's happening right now because of the lockdown. So pinili ko lang yung mga relatable and very relevant to what we're having right now in the current workplace. So, this is in no particular order. So, the first is communication. Communication is not just being able to speak in English fluently. No, it's actually that's one part. No, being able to express yourself fluently, whether whatever language it is. No, pero number one kasi parang pinaka important is English and of course the Filipino language. Aside from speaking it fluently, no, communication skills also covers your ability to be able to listen to kung sino man yung kausap mo. As they say, no, facilitators or trainers, they're not really considered parang they can't be considered a good speaker unless your audience learns something or they understand what you're really saying. So it's equally important na you also understand or your audience also understand what you're saying to be able to consider na you're a good communicator. For this skill, this is important because whether you're applying for an entry level job or supervisory or managerial role, or if the role that you're applying for is an independent contractor, yung mag-isa ka lang sa job na yun, or you're gonna be working with a team, this communication skill is important kasi one way or another you're gonna be talking to different people in other departments, or you're gonna be talking to parang yung mga clients ng company nyo. One way or another somehow, no, parang makaka-encounter ka ng scenario na you'll be dealing with different people, no, outside your parang your bubble talaga. So this one is important. Next is the technical know-how. So this one is dependent on the role that you're applying for. So some positions or some functions, they're highly technical, especially yung mga nasa IT field or engineering. Definitely may mga required silang specific software or equipment or machines na kailangan mo talagang alam. But for fresh graduates or yung mga office-based na positions, the basic technical, well, of course, yung basic software no sa computer. Kaya in most of the colleges no, kasama na yun sa curriculum nila na may subject about yung office software sa computer kasi I think parang generally naman across all functions, across all companies, they use the basic software talaga. And this is important kasi we don't want naman to, sumabak sa workplace ng pen and paper lang tayo. Yan. And it's also important to be updated, no, kung ano yung trends ngayon. Especially ngayon, no, most of the, parang majority of the population sa workplace are young professionals. So it is expected of us, kasama ako, it is expected of us na we're updated kung ano yung trend ngayon, ano na ba yung ginagamit na communication channels, ano na ba yung ginagamit na software or apps to be able to do this kind of task no more efficiently. Next is critical thinking. So this one sounds intimidating, no? Or siguro when I was a fresh graduate or when I was about to graduate na, I really didn't mind about critical thinking. Feeling ko kasi this is very pang supervisor or pang manager or pang team leader na skill. But right now kasi most employers are looking for this one, especially with the situation we have right now, no, with the lockdown, with the pandemic, with there are a lot of adjustments no companies are going through and are still going through no ang dami pa ring pabago-bago sa policies or sa management decision no ng mga companies ngayon. So they're looking for candidates or for applicants who are critical thinkers. These are people who can think out of the box no to be able to solve a problem or to be able to come up with a solution to a situation na makakaapekto sa function mo. Ayan. So, not because you applied for, let's say, an admin or a clerical position na type or encode ka lang, not because you applied for that kind of role or you were hired for that kind of role, hindi ka na pwedeng critical thinker. There will come a time na you will encounter a scenario or a situation na mapapaisip ka talaga or parang you will be faced with a challenging situation that will help you grow no kapag na-solve mo yon. That's what makes job seekers or candidates no likable for employers, for future employers kasi um they don't just do their job no they're not just parang admin or clerical workers, but they're also smart. They're also a thinker. They can decide, they can decide with backed up by facts or backed up by yung solutions na nagawa nila dun sa na-experience talaga nila from first-hand experience na challenging situation. Flexibility. So, it's not just, being physically flexible talaga. But as I mentioned nga earlier with the pandemic, with the lockdown, here in our country especially, there are still a lot of changes companies are going through. Some companies haven't yet established, ano bang gagawin nila sa company nila because pabago-bago rin kasi ng protocol or ng status from the local government or from the national government, no. Most of the companies, they're also yung pag-operate nila ng business kasi syempre nakadepende rin yan kung ano yung i-announce ng national government eh. So, ang dami ring parang changes inside the company, hindi rin nila ma-foresee pa talaga kung paano sila gagalaw in the long run. That's why they're looking for candidates or for applicants who are flexible. They can adapt to sudden changes, they will not be parang stuck up pagka na-encounter nila na work from home na naman or bukas pasok na tayo sa office ganun. They're flexible. They can adapt easily kasi ganito na yung situation ngayon and mukhang magtatagal pa yung ganitong situation. That's why we're looking for people na kailangan ganito siya, mabilis siya maka-cope up, kaya niya mag-adjust 'pag nag-iba na naman yung schedule or 'pag nag-iba na naman yung setup or, may kailangan ipagawa sa kanya na medyo na ibang function lang pero medyo related naman din sa talagang function niya. So that's why this is one of the top skills as well. Very special lalo na ngayong taon na 'to. Teamwork. So we've all been hearing about teamwork ever since high school or grade school until college, until ngayon 'no, naghahanap tayo ng work, teamwork pa rin yung hinahanap. Whether you're applying for a role na it's an independent contractor, as I mentioned nga kanina, or the kind of job na mag-isa ka lang sa job, yung wala kang kasamang team, or you're applying for a role na you're gonna be working with the team, teamwork is, equally important because one way or another, organizations, companies are built with, several departments inside. And these departments, no matter how independent they seem to be, working on their own, to be able to make the company or the organization work talaga, they are all related to each other. So one department will not be able to work or to function properly without the other department. That goes as well, that applies as well no, to the individual employees. So that's why this is very important as well. Creativity, not just in arts, no, but this one is related to critical thinking, being able to think out of the box when you're encountered, when you're faced with a difficult situation that you don't normally encounter. Dito kasi matetest yung creativity nyo eh. And this can also be a good practice or parang training ground para mahasa ka in terms of your decision making or problem solving skills, which yun nga in the future if you're looking for a higher position in the future, is going to be really helpful kasi first hand mong na-experience na nakasolve ka ng ganitong problem using your own thinking, or you thought out of the box to be able to solve it. In summary, so these are the top skills, no? Communication, the technical know-how, critical thinking, flexibility, teamwork, and creativity. So there are still a lot of skills, no, employers are looking for. These are just the common denominator from the articles that I've gathered, no, na relevant in our setting, in the Philippine setting right now. What are we looking for in Alveo? So, right now kasi, so as I mentioned and as I introduced na rin earlier, I'm handling sales, hiring for salespeople nationwide. So these are our property specialists. These are our salespeople selling Alveo properties, offering the properties to potential clients. The six skills I mentioned earlier, they're all pretty much important in what we're looking for in a salespeople. Communication, definitely, because your sales, puhunan kasi yung laway, eh. So, you'll be talking to a lot of people, different kinds of people, not just verbal communication, but because right now we're working from home, most of the time it's virtual communication, chat, virtual meeting. May calls pa rin naman, you're still gonna do calls, but communication in general is important. Being able to express yourself confidently and, be able to present to the client kasi you're representing the company, eh. You're selling a property. So, siyempre, ikaw yung parang frontliner to the client. So, you have to be able to present yourself well. Technical know-how for our salespeople naman, we're not requiring any specific software naman or application. No? Just the basic Word, PowerPoint, Excel, kasi you're gonna use it, in presenting to clients, or to be able to do your job efficiently. Critical thinking, because you're gonna be encountering different types of client, different types of scenarios. So there will be times na mafo-force ka talaga na mag-isip na how am I be able to handle this client? May irate client, or may client na pabago-bago ng decision, mapapaisip talaga kayo how you're going to handle it, how you're going to handle the situation para ma-turn around yun, no, maging win-win situation siya sa inyong dalawa. Flexibility. Okay, so right now, we're working from home, even our salespeople. So that's why they're more on, most of their time, they're doing digital selling or digital marketing. But the traditional way kasi of selling is doing it face to face, eh, or ito yung field work talaga. So, yung mga tenured na or yung matagal na sa industry, sanay sila na face to face, eh. Sanay sila na nasa labas talaga sila naghahabol ng clients, or nakikipag-meeting sa clients, no, outside talaga. So, when there was a pandemic, when there was a lockdown, they had to shift, no, drastically talaga, bawal lumabas. So, yung mga sanay talagang lumabas, napilitan silang mag-work from home. And that's why this is one of the skills that we're looking for our salespeople. Kasi paiba-iba rin kasi yung ina-announce ng national government, eh. So sometimes, 'pag medyo lumuwag or 'pag medyo bumaba yung mga cases, nag-iiba rin kami ng setup for our sales, 'no, para maka-cope up din kami and maka-adjust din yung salespeople namin. Some people kasi siyempre it's not meant for everyone, for 100% of the people na 100% work from home. To some people, it's not that effective, so they have to be flexible, compromise as well. So they have to look for other channels, no, kung paano nila magagawa yung work nila. Teamwork, our salespeople, they work in teams. We have a lot of teams in different locations kung saan may existing na project. Yun, so merong specific team na naka-assign to work on that project. So yes, you have our salespeople, they have individual targets, they're selling individually, pero they're working as a team kasi nandiyan yung moral support, and nati-train nila yung isa't isa. Some members of the team medyo mas tenured na or mas seasoned na sa industry, yung iba naman fresh pa lang. So nagtutulungan sila hanggang, parang even the seasoned ones, they learn from the fresh ones kasi meron din namang sila natututunan sa mga fresh fresh graduates, yung mga fresh out of school, no? So, kasi fresh pa yung brain niyan, fresh pa yung thinking, yung mindset nila, masarap din matuto sa mga fresh grads. Creativity, because, the job is not that routinary. So, you're gonna be, like, really thinking out of the box from time to time. Actually, most of the time, you'll be thinking out of the box because it's not a routinary job na parang meron ka ng specific routine talaga, 8 AM to 9 AM ganito lang yung ginagawa mo, 9 AM to 10 AM na ganito lang. It's not like that, 'no? So sa sales, it varies kasi, eh. So kasi your the function, the nature of the job is, be able to sell, selling the properties. So it's up to you, it's up to them, 'no, kung paano nila didiskartehan, 'no, paano sila makakabenta. So that's why nandun yung creativity talaga. But these are just, the basic skills that we're looking for. Of course, it's still important, no? It's a big advantage, no, if experience na rin talaga sa industry, experience na rin talaga sa sales, kahit siguro ibang industry, no? But we're open naman to accepting fresh graduates and those na kahit hindi fresh graduates or yung mga career shifters, yun, yung mga galing sa ibang industry, we're open to accepting them as well. Um, how to apply? So we're on Jobs on 80. So jobson80.com/alveoland. We're on Facebook. Join Team Alveo. And this is our official recruitment email, alveo.recruitment@alveoland.com.ph. So you can see on our Jobs on 80 page, we have several property specialists openings in different locations kasi sa locations nagkakaiba-iba. But ultimately, no, same role naman yun, same function. It's just dependent on the location. We're also considering kung saan kayo nakatira para doon namin kayo i-a-assign sa kung saan yung malapit sa inyo. And that's the end of my presentation. So if you want to apply, you can reach us through these channels. And I would like to thank NCBA for having me again. I've been presenting na to several schools na rin, but still, thank you for this opportunity to be able to present this to fresh graduates or to our graduating students. Robert?
Yes, thank you, Miss Bernie. So let's move on to our Q&A to our viewers. Once again, you could use the comment box to ask your questions. And we only have limited time, so please ask them now. So we have the first question here from Christine Marie. Would there be a chance in job hiring that the skills of the applicant that he or she put on their resume are needed to be checked or needed to be verified?
Yes. Thank you, Christine Marie, for that question. But yes, the answer is yes. No, whether it's a technical skill or the hard skills, no, or a soft skill, the employer or the recruiter would still need to check it or verify it, no. Pag technical skills, some employers, they parang administer certain types of test, no, para ma-test lang din yung kung gaano ka knowledgeable in that software or in that app or in that machine, no. And certain soft skills naman, they ask specific set of questions to gauge your proficiency level in those skills. So para lang din ma-verify talaga. Yes.
Okay, so next question from Laika. What do you think are the necessary information that a company looks for in an applicant?
Um, marami. Paano ko ba sasagutin 'to? Like, there are a lot of necessary information a company is looking for in an applicant. First and foremost, of course, I think it's important yung some of a little bit about the personal information. Siyempre, no, yung kung taga saan ka, the age, ano pa ba? Very little lang talaga for personal information. A lot goes on, it depends on the function that you're applying for. So, some roles, they require na experience na or may related experience na, no, para, depende kasi kung anong level ng position yung ina-applyan mo. Some roles for yung mga open for fresh graduates, baka they can look into the OJT or the college experience lang din. But I think if you can make this question a little more specific, no, baka mas masagot ko siya ng maayos. Very generic kasi yung question niya.
baka try natin, Miss Bernie, masagot siya in terms of sa skills na hanapin na siguro pagdating sa application pa lang, baka pwede natin in-arrow down para connected sa ating topic.
Oo. Well, aside from dun sa mga na-discuss ko
Mm,
kanina
yes,
'no,
yes.
kasi na-research ko 'yun, eh, and most of them kasi soft skills, eh, so they're very applicable for fresh graduates, eh, yung wala pa talagang technical skills na-acquire. So, well, in terms of skill, yung mga talagang hinahanap 'no ng employers, again, this is highly dependent on the role. Some roles, they require very proficient in communication, very proficient in the computer, yung basic computer like basic computer software like Word, Excel, especially if it's an admin position, no, more on clerical, so yun yung usual na ginagamit. I guess like it depends kasi on the position, eh, but kung ano yung mga na-gain mo during college, no, if ever you're a fresh graduate, it's important you can list them down naman. So, para makita rin ni employer or ni recruiter kung ano yung meron ka na may offer mo sa company talaga.
Okay, I think we're good. Next question. I think this is specific to Alveolan. Does the company accept
Mhm.
senior high school graduates?
Mhm. Okay. Thank you, Jessie, for the question. For our sales position, no, the property specialist, we're not accepting SHS graduates, no, at least 2 years in college yung nire-require namin because meron kasing compliance to RESA law. So this is the real estate law kasi. So they require at least 2 years in college na educational attainment. But we also have, don't worry, Jessie, no, we also have non-sales positions. Ito yung mga office-based, no, na positions namin like accounting, HR, may mga vacancies din kami. We can accept, no, we're open to SHS graduates. Depende na rin sa assessment ni HR together with the hiring manager. Yan. Pero for sales, college education talaga yung kailangan.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bernie. I think that's it for us. This ends our Q&A portion.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, yung mga follow-up questions hindi na namin masasagot. We ran out of time na rin. So I would
Mhm.
now like to present to you your certificate. So I'll read it out loud. National College of Business and Arts Cubao Center for Guidance and Counseling, together with jobs180.com, present this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Mary Bernadette Arlati for having contributed her time, effort, and knowledge as a resource speaker in our pre-employment webinar for graduating students entitled Job Hunting in the Midst of Crisis, conducted through facebook.com/jobs180 on 16th day of April 2021, signed by Mrs. Nimpa C. Robert, Guidance Counselor of NCBA Cubao, Mr. Kim Chua, Managing Director of jobs180.com, and Mrs. Marie Flor M. Huber, AVP for Marketing Placement and Linkages of NCBA. So thank you, Ms. Bernie. We will be sure to provide you a copy of this certificate.
Thank you then, Robert, and to the staff of NCBA. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the second out of our three topics. I think we can now move on to our third and last topic. So again, as mentioned earlier at the start, the last topic is labor market information report. And to introduce the speaker, Vange is currently taking Master of Arts in Education, major in Guidance and Counseling in the La Salle University das Marinas. She completed BS Psychology cum laude at the Lyceum of the Philippines, Manila in 1999. Currently, she is connected to the Department of Labor and Employment Bureau of Local Employment as the focal person of the Career Guidance Advocacy Program and the Tabang OSW program. Let's welcome Ms. Evangeline Aviñante from Dole. Hello, Ms. Vance.
Hi, good
Ah,
afternoon.
afternoon, ma'am. So,
Hi,
uh,
Robert. Good afternoon,
upon checking,
everyone.
okay naman po ang ating video and audio. So, test na po natin ang full screen. And once we are good with it, pwede na mag-start. So, I can see the screen for your PowerPoint presentation. Pwede pa check po nung next slide. I'm not sure if naka-full screen siya on our end. There you go. Okay na tayo dyan, Ma'am
I
Ranj.
think we're good at that. Yes, yes. Thank
I'll be
you,
heading
Robert.
backstage. Balik na lang ako for our Q&A. Thank you.
Okay. So again, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Assistant Secretary Dominic Rubia Tutay, we would like to thank National College for Business and Arts through Ma'am Nympha Robert for the invitation. So we appreciate taking part in your career guidance program, especially that it aligns with the Bureau's Career Guidance Advocacy Program or SIGAP. I look forward that the audience will continuously engage in the session, and I enjoin everyone to listen attentively because after the talk, you will be going to walk away, hopefully, with practical ideas that you can use in your career planning. Next slide, please. So before I proceed with the heart of the discussion, let me brief you with some relevant concepts. So labor market information or LMI. LMI describes the interaction between the supply of and demand for labor in the market. It presents and interprets how the labor market is functioning and identifies available labor resources, employment opportunities, and other related information such as wage rates, qualifications, employment conditions, and others. Next slide, please. So as I have mentioned earlier, the Bureau of Local Employment or BLE implements the Career Guidance Advocacy Program or the SIGAP. So SIGAP has two objectives. First is to immerse its beneficiaries on the realities of the labor market. And second, to use career guidance as an effective tool in addressing job skills mismatch. In red text are key concepts, realities of the labor market, and career guidance, just like our activity this afternoon. All right, next slide, please. To begin with the discussion proper, please allow me to share the realities of the labor market. So ito na ang katotohanan sa ating labor market. Now, according to International Labor Organization, the world of work is being profoundly affected by the global virus pandemic. In addition to the threat to public health, the economic and social disruption threatens the long-term livelihoods and well-being of the millions. Next slide, please. Now, you would be seeing there Jobs Fit COVID-19 Labor Market Information Report. So, how the pandemic is reshaping the Philippine labor market. Now, in November 2020, last year, the Department of Labor and Employment through the Bureau of Local Employment released the Jobs Fit COVID-19 LMI report. The report analyzes the impact of COVID-19 on employment and notes a shift in the labor market landscape in a bid to understand the future of the world of work under the new normal. Next slide, please. So we'll take a look at the pre-COVID-19 employment situation. Now, in January 2020, prior to COVID-19, employment grew by 4.0% or 1.624 million additional jobs compared to January 2019. So we have seen growth in the services, agriculture sectors contribute to the said increase. Now, on the part of unemployment rate, it remained at 5.3%. Please take note that this is the lowest recorded unemployment rate for all the January survey rounds since 2011. Youth and underemployment rate declined to 13.6% in January 2020 from 14.2% in January 2019. We also noted a decrease in underemployment level in January 2020 at 6.317 million underemployed workers from 6.326 million in January 2019. Right? So we have heard our landscape on employment, underemployment, youth employment, and underemployment. So in general, the country's labor market showed positive gains. That's pre-COVID employment situation. Now, let's move to our next slide for us to ponder on the COVID-19 pandemic employment situation. So, tignan natin kung paano nito nabago ang ating labor market landscape. Now, please take a look at the concepts that I have mentioned to you. The number of employed person was down to 39.0406 million in 2020, resulting to 3.021 million job loss. Imagine that. The unemployment rate reached 10.2% in 2020, and this is 2 times higher than the recorded unemployment rate in 2019 at 5.1%. It is important to note that at the height of the lockdowns imposed by the government, unemployment level hit its highest at 17.7, equivalent to 7.3 million unemployed persons. More than 3 million workers in over 100,000 establishments, majority of which are micro, small, and medium enterprises, or what we call as MSMEs, have either temporarily closed, undergone flexible work arrangement, retrenchment, or unfortunately, they closed permanently. Likewise, the informal sector workers and the OFWs have been severely affected by the pandemic. Moreover, youth unemployment remains to be a major concern as the 2020 annual estimates reported an increase of 7.9% percentage points from 13.6% in 2019 to 21.5% in 2020. So truly, COVID-19 pandemic has brought about unprecedented shocks to the economy, especially to the labor market. Next slide, please. Other than employment, unemployment, and underemployment, LMI also covers occupational information, that is, the projected employment and wages, and said information is vital in career exploration, education, and training program development. Employment forecasts tend to identify key growth sectors and target occupations that will provide the bulk of job openings to local economies. The current slide shows the list of in-demand occupations, and this is based from dollar regional offices through the Peso Employment Information System, or what we call as PEIS or PEIS, as well as the COVID-19 LMI survey. On the top of the list, if you are to look at it, are the accountant, accounting personnel, administrative clerk, and towards the end of the list are electrician, enumerator, and factory worker. So again, those are the in-demand occupations. Next slide, please. Now, as we transition to sustainable development, green jobs, if you have heard of this already, become more critical to meet the demands of the green economy in terms of skills, credentials, and knowledge. For your information, per our Republic Act 10771 or the Philippine Green Jobs Act of 2016, green jobs refers to employment that contributes to preserving or restoring the quality of the environment, be it in agriculture, industry, or services sector. So medyo malawak ang sakop na sectors ng mga green jobs na tinatawag natin. Specifically but not exclusively, these include jobs that help to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, reduce energy, materials, and water consumption through high-efficiency strategies, decarbonize the economy, and minimize or altogether avoid generation of all forms of waste and pollution. Now, the current slides present the list of green occupations. So, if we are to see the list, on top would be compliance officers, what else? Compliance specialist and construction worker. And towards the end of the list naman are carpenter, agribusiness, and agricultural technician. By the way, this is based from the COVID-19 LMI survey. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have freelance jobs that are essential in nature since there are tasks that can be efficiently done by outsourced service providers. These jobs can be classified as contract work, independent contractor, consultancy, or contract to hire. The current slide presents the list of freelance occupations, and on the top of the list are IT specialists, sales executive, and customer service assistants. And towards the end of the list naman are housekeeper, hairdresser, and laborer. Again, this is based from the COVID-19 labor market survey. Okay, next slide, please. Interesting to note also would be the industries with highest vacancies. Presented now are the industries with highest vacancies based from the Field Job Net, if you have heard of this, or we call this PJN, which is an internet-based job and applicant matching system which aims to fast-track job seekers' search for jobs and employers' a search for manpower. It provides job seekers with a listing of job vacancies posted by employers and manpower recruitment agencies and the employers with a registry of skills available in the market as indicated by the details provided by the PJN registered applicants. On the top of the list are the real estate, renting and business activities, wholesale and retail trade, and transport, storage, and communication. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So from another job search portal, this is Workbank, rent, real estate renting and business activities, wholesale and retail trade, and transport, storage, and communication remain on top of the list of industries with highest vacancies. So almost the same labor market report or information. Next slide, please. Okay, JobStreet released its job report in May 2020 edition, which contains the current labor climate and hiring practices in time of pandemic. So presented are few of the noteworthy information on job search trends derived from the said report. Top in-demand jobs are nurse, accountant, civil engineer, and others on the list. So towards the end of the list are pharmacist, a sales, and electrical engineer. Right, next slide, please. Now, while the world is still grappling with the pandemic, changes in the world of work due to fourth industrial revolution, we call this FIRE or 4IR, has not been disrupted. In fact, it has accelerated. Recently, in the World Economic Forum, released this list of emerging and declining jobs. They estimated that by 2025, 85 million jobs may be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machines, while 79 million new roles may emerge that are more adapted to the new division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms. These are the jobs. Okay, so increasing in demand, on top would be data analysts and scientists, AI and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists, process automation specialists, business development professionals, digital transformation specialists, information security analyst, software and applications developer, and Internet of Things specialist. This resulting to set of emerging professions that reflect the adoption of new technologies and increasing demand for new products and services, which are driving greater demand for green economy jobs, roles at the forefront of the data and AI economy, as well as new roles in engineering, cloud computing, and product development. Next slide, please. Now, let me introduce you to key employment generators, or we call this KEGS, K-E-G-S, KEGS. With these trends and the outlook of the economy in consideration, here's our assessment of our key employment generators, as I've mentioned to you, KEGS, identified by our JobsFit 2022 report. We see industries that will stand to gain, lose, or still uncertain amid this pandemic. So you will be able to see there arrow down, red in red, and arrow up in green. So what do we mean by this? Industries that are seen to gain include IT/BPM, which is seen to remain as our top employment generator as it offers the most flexibility to do work. Health and wellness is also expected to gain with our fight against health crisis, of course. Agribusiness may also thrive with the launch of the DA's Plant program as well as the Balik Probinsya program. And construction is also expected to jumpstart the economy with the resumption of the public works and the key build infrastructure projects that will employ thousands of workers. Meanwhile, vulnerable and hard-hit sectors include hotel, restaurant, and tourism, which stands to be the biggest loser in this pandemic given the government restrictions. Transportation will most likely be down because of the strict government protocols and physical distancing and travel restrictions. We are all aware of this and we are experiencing this now. The increase in demand for delivery services may help logistics, but we are yet to see whether its impact is significant. Banking and finance may also experience a slump because of the gloomy economic outlook that affects spending. And education may also be negatively affected because of the uncertainty of whether classes can resume this year or to some extent whether parents will enroll their children for this school year given the pandemic. As to wholesale and retail trade, it offers mixed signals. Okay, meron siyang green arrow and red arrow. Considering the physical stores may be limited in operation, but online sellers, as we know, may thrive in the new normal. Marketing may also be affected by some restrictions, especially for non-essential goods. So, alam ninyo to, alin ang non-essential at essential goods. Next slide, please. You might also be interested in the relevant skills in the new normal. Our previous speaker have discussed these skills needed by our labor market. Now, apart from the employment changes in the labor market, companies have begun to put soft skills as a necessity alongside with other qualifications. While hard skills demonstrate a candidate's technical ability to fulfill job requirements, soft skills, as mentioned, demonstrate a candidate's work ethic and character, including how well a fit they are for the company's culture and goals. With COVID-19's acceleration of the Fourth Industrial Revolution or FIRE, workers and job seekers may be armed with relevant digital and 21st century skills to survive and remain competitive with the disruptions in the labor market. So these skills include, nabanggit na ito ng ating previous speaker, adaptability and flexibility. So na-define naman ito very well, tech savviness, creativity and innovation, data literacy, critical thinking, leadership, Okay. We also have emotional intelligence and commitment to lifelong learning. So, I will just have to highlight emotional intelligence as the ability to adapt and manage your behavior in your interaction depending on the context and situation. The ability to connect with others can give a candidate an edge, especially in industries where they'll need to work closely with others. Aside from this, being able to navigate complex social situations and understand people, such as colleagues, mix na ito ng mga kasama natin sa ating work environment, colleagues, superiors, clients, and others. This would be as far for the course when working with others, more so for leaders and managers. And last would be yung commitment to lifelong learning. So, commit to a lifetime of learning. Hindi dahil graduate na tayo, stop na tayo ng pag-aaral. So, this is a lifetime learning na sana tayo ay maging committed. When faced with a tight job market, lalo na ngayon, professionals with advanced and expert job skills will still be in demand and will likely struggle less to find employment. So, commit to lifetime of learning. Now, this is to stress that both workers and employers need to invest in human capital development to reskill and upskill. So, ulitin ko, to upskill and to reskill. Numerous digital learning platforms are available and easily accessible online to develop these skills. Both technical and soft skills need to be strengthened in order to ensure that Filipino workers will be able to adapt to the new normal. Let reskill and upskill. Okay. Next slide, please. So, relative to the said employment situation, so nabanggit ko sa inyo yung labor market landscape natin, yung kegs natin, yung relevant skills in the new normal. The National Employment Recovery Strategy, or the NERS, serves as our employment plan that will help in the recovery of the labor market back to its pre-pandemic state, preserve existing job, businesses, and livelihood, and help our workforce adapt to the market demands of the new normal. This is our government initiative, and this complements the existing initiatives under the Recharge PH, specifically under the task group on economic recovery, and is anchored in or on the updated PDP 2017 to 2022. The objective of NERS are as follows: to create a policy environment that encourages generation of more employment and entrepreneurship opportunities. Second, to improve employability, wellness, and productivity of our workers. And lastly, to provide support to existing and emerging businesses. Next slide, please. So last February lang ito, so very much updated talaga ang grupo ng NCBA. We had a ceremonial signing of the JMC, or Joint Memorandum Circular, to formally constitute the NERS Task Force, which was attended by high-ranking cabinet members. So you can see there yung mga principals ng ating mga government agencies. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me just share with you the NERS Task Force ay guided by its operational framework where the welfare of workers and business is at its core. So makita natin na sa gitna ng bilog ng framework natin, business at workers. Now, its action plan seeks to restart economic activities, restore business and consumer confidence, upgrade and retool the workforce, and facilitate labor market access. We acknowledge that this cannot be achieved without the proper governance and support structure from our government. Hence, the collaboration among government agencies and even engagement with external stakeholders to demonstrate a whole of society approach in dealing with our employment problem. So sama-sama na itong effort of government and non-government agencies. Now, just a brief of the highlights of the action plan. Next slide, please. Okay, so the nurse has draft 8-point policy recovery action, and this stemmed from the directive of the President during the 52nd Cabinet meeting to deliver all the commitment of the nurse within his administration. So ito yung 8-point action plan. Approval of the proposed wage subsidy for private sector workers. Conduct a job summit. So we are preparing for this. Support for the passage of priority legislation that strengthen the economic and employment recovery. Promote upskilling and retooling of our workers. So kanina nabanggit ko na itong two concepts na ito. Implementation of youth employability program. So this is where our career guidance advocacy program or SIGAP na nagpo-fall sa action plan. 6 would be to extend assistance to establishments. 7, provide social protection to vulnerable groups. And last but not the least, to monitor and support continuous implementation of programs with high impact on employment. Right, so that is our government initiatives at this time. Next slide, please. Conclusion. So, ano ba yung mga takeaways natin with the topics that I have shared with you? First would be COVID-19 pandemic, which battered global economies, has also significantly affected and reshaped our labor market landscape. Due to limited mobility of workers and other quarantine restrictions imposed to control the spread of the virus, changes in both the demand and the supply sides of the labor market have become apparent. Next slide, please. Now, this is where labor market becomes essential. Why? Because LMI can help you make informed career choice, but of course, you also have to consider your interests and your needs. Another thing is you should check your expectations. It is important to note that most people do not start working in their dream jobs right away naman. We may need to move and work our way up. And do not limit your research to one career area. Nakita natin yung mga labor market, mga prevailing jobs natin, yung ating mga kegs. So, it would be advisable that we branch out. What do we mean by that? Expand our social networks, our circle of friends, professional friends. But the bottom line is, our college provides us with transferable skill set that will make you strong candidate for different jobs. So yun naman yung confident tayo. So thank you to our alma mater. Okay, next slide please. And last, this is for our government initiatives naman. Last slide. The effects of the pandemic are likely to linger for an extended period. Medyo matagal-tagal pa itong challenges natin na ito. Nonetheless, government recovery strategies are being developed, focusing on gradually reopening and stimulating the economy, stemming the spread of the virus, and creating jobs. The implementation of these strategies will influence the outlook and growth of key industries, including the skills that will be relevant and the number and nature of jobs that will be generated and explained in this report. The same will also continue to dictate for the future of labor market landscape for the new and better normal. All right, so last slide, please. Last slide would be, I think that would be my last slide. So thank you very much for listening to JobsFit COVID-19 LMI Report and Nurse Employment Recovery through Applied Labor Market Intelligence. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Vange. So, to our audience, we have time for a few questions before we say goodbye to Miss Vange. Well, in the meantime, I would like to ask this question. Well, ma'am, dun sa pagdating sa, we have low demand fields because of the pandemic nga, like the hospitality and tourism industry. Ano ang ating ma-advise para dun sa those that who took up this course nung first year nila okay pa pero now graduating sila there's lack of demand na nga dito sa ganitong jobs. Ano po ang ating ma-advise for them?
Okay, so again, let me highlight yung sa ating takeaway, no? So, let us not limit yung ating sarili sa isang career area. So, sabi ko nga, branch out yung mga social networks natin, ang palawakin natin, and with the labor market landscape that we have nga, the situation with our kegs, it's important na hindi lang tayo nakakonsentrate sa kung ano lang ba yung gusto natin na career area. Anyway, lagi naman tayong, yung bottom line nga sabi ko, our universities, our education has provided us with a transferable skill set. So, ibig sabihin nito, marami pa rin naman tayong mga other job opportunities na pwedeng i-consider for the meantime. Alright? And by the time na umayos naman na ang ating labor market, then we can pursue kung ano ba yung ating talagang career dream job or career path na gustong tahakin.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So to our audience, just branching out is necessary for now for those dun sa low demand industry. And well,
Yung skill
we're
sets
confident
natin.
naman na ang skills
Yes.
na kailangan pa rin for others ay natutunan pa rin naman natin even if iba yung course. Sige po, diretso po tayo dito sa question from Steven Charles. You can see it sa screen. What is the present status or insights of entertainment, arts, and creative industries in this pandemic? What will be the fate of these industries for the post-pandemic future?
Okay. So, in general naman, meron talaga tayong mga kegs na naka-down or facing challenges because of the restrictions, yung mga government restrictions natin. But as to fate, sabi ko nga, our government ay may mga interventions na ginagawa because we wanted to recover in this pandemic and we are looking forward a healthy labor market soonest. Kaya itong nurse natin, ito ay tinututukan talaga ng Department of Labor and Employment. And this is not just a one-man job ng department. We are coordinating with our partner government agencies para talagang makarespond tayo sa nagiging employment situations ng ating bansa. And we would be able to help yung mga struggling, yung mga thriving nating kegs na maibalik sa dating situation.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Vash. I think you were able to answer the question of Sir Stephen Charles. So, to the rest of the audience, I'll give you a few more seconds, a minute max, to type in your question bago tayo mag-goodbye kay Ma'am Vash. Because I think we are just in time para mag-sum up ng ating buong webinar. So, habang binibigyan natin silang last minute chance, Ma'am Vash, I would first want to thank you, of course, for being part of our webinar. So we were glad that we were able to contact you to conduct this talk of yours. Okay, so I think we are good with the questions from the audience. I would now like to present to you your certificate. So your certificate comes from NCBA and together with Jobs 180, I will be reading it to you. National College of Business and Arts, Cubao, Center for Guidance and Counseling, together with Jobs180.com, presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Evangeline G. Aviñante for having contributed her time, effort, and knowledge as a resource seeker in our pre-employment webinar for graduating college students entitled Job Hunting in the Midst of Crisis, conducted through facebook.com/jobs180 on 16th day of April 2021, signed by Mrs. Nympha C. Robert, Guidance Counselor of NCBA Cubao, Mr. Kim Chua, Managing Director of Jobs180.com, and Mrs. Mariflor M. Huber, AVP for Marketing, Placement, and Linkages of NCBA. So I will make sure that you will be getting a copy of this e-certificate. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stay well, everyone.
Kayo rin po, ma'am. Bye. Okay, so that's it for us today. We are glad that we were able to share to you the contents of our webinar. Thank you to our audience for, first of all, for joining us, and for those na nagtanong ng questions earlier para maging engaging ang ating discussion. Thank you to you. Thank you to Alveoland and Dole for sending speakers. We'd also like to thank once again Accenture, one of our corporate sponsors for this event. Please visit jobs180.com/Accenture to learn more about the company, view their job openings, and of course to apply. Okay, to formally close our event, we have a message once again from someone from your school, a school representative. We have here Mrs. Mariflor M. Huber, AVP for Marketing, Placement, and Linkages, to give you the closing remarks.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank, of course, our partners, job180.com, the team, and making us partners and opening and sharing the doors of opportunities to our NCBA community. I would also like to extend our sincerest appreciation to the resource speakers from Alveo, Ma'am Bernie and earlier, and Ma'am Vanji from Dole. Indeed, you have given us all great insights and how the new normal workforce is to be approached at. And in this new normal, indeed, we have new challenges, delivering the way of finding a job, and made it really very interesting. Sir Kim also gave us a very, very remarkable opening to give us a little bit of boost on how the workforce and the resumes needs to be out there digitally and enhanced. So I hope our students, our community, NCBA community, has picked up a lot of insights and pointers on that. And I would also like to of course, Ma'am Nympha, our guidance counselor, for putting this webinar together and inviting the very remarkable speakers that we have. Very informative, especially nowadays that you are most needed, Ma'am Vanji, Sir Kim, and Ma'am Vanj, to give us what is the landscape outside of the box right now, that we are mostly in-house in our own homes, but it gives us hope that there is still functioning offices that can help us. It's just a matter of mind switching, and of course the way we do things is going to be different in-house in the Philippines and as well as globally. I would also like to thank those that have participated that are not our students or within our NCBA community. If you are here right now watching us or joining us, participating and getting pointers, I would like to invite you to be tuning in to our website. In the website, we have our programs there, what we can, in terms of education, we can share with you what programs we have. NCBA has been in existence for 50 years, and here we are still in existence, going with the trend of the new normal online classes, and we're still making sure that we learn from the experts how we can deliver valuable services in terms of education also. So in that, I know everyone is anxious because it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And I know everyone is looking forward to the weekend. Thank you again once more to all that are participating, our department heads, if they are there, and all of the parents or guardians of our senior highs, if they are also attuned with us. We have disseminated the invitations to everyone that are very interested. I know this is a very interesting webinar because of the need. So thank you once again, and have a good afternoon. And TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Don't forget to always think that you're not alone. And we are looking forward to the continued partnership with jobs180.com. Thank you once again to the team. Very well done. And I hope you will continue on partnering with us and giving us insights and information so that us too in our community will enhance our deliverance to the community and to the educational institution. Okay. Good afternoon. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Huber. I think I could speak for jobs180.com in saying that we are very much willing, and actually we look forward to partnering with you again in the future. Okay, so before we end, just some final announcements. You have an online evaluation form. If you check your comment section, nandyan siya. It should be there. I think na-post na siya ilang beses. And also, it's flashed across the screen to remind you that you have, once again, an online evaluation form to accomplish. And aside from that, I mentioned before that this video would be saved sa aming FB page and YouTube page. So if ever may gusto kayo balikan, or if meron kayong friend that na-miss yung webinar, pwede nyo tingnan ang saved video sa FB and YouTube. And lastly, make sure you make your resume link as soon as possible. And yes, you go to jobs180.com to create your account, but I'd like to emphasize once again that we should verify the account. Sayang yung ating efforts in making our resume link if it were not verified. Pag hindi natin na-verify, sayang naman. So, gawin na natin lahat ng kaya natin para ma-improve chances natin to be interviewed and hired. Okay, so that's it. Thank you to our viewers once again. Well, we wish you luck moving forward. Stay safe and goodbye.
Change. It happens when you least expect it, but also when you embrace it. At Accenture, we help the world's biggest brands thrive through change. Our people combine technology and creativity, expertise and experience, learning and collaboration, passion and purpose to make a difference for our clients, their customers, our company, and our communities. Behind every great change is a great human. Bring your skills, your curiosity, and your true self to your work every day. Let's do incredible things. Let's deliver on the promise of technology and human ingenuity.